to read them or to represent them for a constituted term of 5 years. And this is total misuse of power. And how do you conclude misuse of power? A misuse of power is where one who is entitled for the presidency has gone long and has now moved out of the path. Because one, there is a procedure of acquiring these housing. And you want to tell us that now there is a special groups which does not require to follow the procedure because you have a say and you only require a stroke of the pen and decide these groups should be given this. How special is this group? This group has contributed in a manner that any other Kenyan has contributed. And if it's a civil servant, and including myself, because I also contribute to the levy, we should give it equal way or equal manner of acquiring those houses. But when we are alive to have very special clusters that you can wake up and say, Kamau should get half of this housing, then it tells you we are out of order and we are not following a particular order, and then the president has become a role ranger and he can decide anything, he can dictate anything because he's the president. This is total misuse of power. And what we are saying, Mr. President, you can do it to holding voters, because what you are doing is you have started this early campaign today, and you have forgotten that in fact you have various number of needed programs that you have not fulfilled. But you have forgotten that. But you have seen the projects that you can be able to foster now is your campaign in your public home, which is State House, and using public money and public resources, promising people that is doing. And I would ask teachers, you know, you have been always in a mountain fighting with the government because of dues, your dues. You must watch your steps. If you get hoodwinked and you get to the box, it's upon you. But Kenyans, remember, the president will not even be able to host that percent of Kenyans to the end of his tenure. What is he going to do with the rest of the population that who has not been able to step to the State House?
Embakasi, the Member of Parliament James Gakuya has criticized the recent political and governance decision by President William Ruto while defending former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who was recently impeached by the Senate. Speaking during a televised political talk show, Gakuya argued that the Senate acted unfairly in its decision against Gachagua. He insisted that the impeachment process is not complete since Gachagua has appealed and the matter is still before the courts. According to him, Gachagua's political ambition, including any future presidential bid, remains valid until the highest court makes a final ruling. Gachagua suggested that the move to remove Gachagua was politically motivated and premature. He noted that impeachment is a serious constitutional process that should not be influenced by political rivalry or power struggles. His comments reflect the growing tension within Kenya's political landscape as factions continue to debate Gachagua's future role. Turning his attention to President Ruto's administration, Gakuya accused the president of mishandling the affordable housing project that have been one of the government key development pillars. He claimed that Ruto was bypassing established procedures in awarding contracts and tenders for the housing program. According to Gakuya, this lack of adherence to due process undermines accountability and transparency, raising concerns about potential misuse of public resources. Gakuya further alleged that State House has become a platform where political campaigning rather than governance. He criticized the president for using public funds to finance activities that, in his view, serve political interests rather than national development. He questioned the sources of the money being distributed in handouts and warned that such action could erode public trust in government institutions.
Compete for presidency. But I would say we have seen previous cases where the current head of state and his former, they were on a tag of this kind of serious case in Hague. Mm-hmm. And when the matter was brought to the judiciary, locally here, then the pronunciation of the court was their hearts are open to contest, because by then, I would say that in fact the answer was there was not yet a conviction, but there was a matter, and when the matter is ongoing, you are always a suspect until when you are proven guilty. But this matter where now Gachagua has been already punched by the final nail of the Senate, what I would say is that there is what we call the processes of appeal. And since he's on a process of appeal, until when the highest court of the land declares that he was collectively impeached, that's only when his interest can be totally terminated. But as of now, I am sure that I am not a lawyer personally, but the lawyers can have various ways of interpretation of this, and I would be happy to hear from lawyer Kinyajui and his opinion. But what I would say is that the final whistle can be determined by the judiciary, because already the process has taken place and it has reached its final conclusion. But the matter is now on an appeal process in judiciary. Mm-hmm. Let me hear from the lawyer.
All right. Bwana Mutua, what do you feel this does